Continuing the reassembly of our Evinrude 4 horsepower. So we've got the drive shaft, the pump cover, the impeller, which I've not replaced yet. As I've said before, I'm not spending any money on this motor until I know it's got a chance of running okay. So there's the impeller, drive shaft, the pump cover, the our little wedge or drive wedge which goes into this cutout here on the shaft, and the plate, the bottom plate for the pump. Okay, reassembling the pump. There's our shaft. This is the bottom end of the shaft with the flat on it to take the wedge, which fits in there like that. We'll put in a moment. And there's the bottom plate. There's the impeller, which has not been replaced yet, but as I've said, I'm not spending any money on parts until I know that this whole motor is going to be worthwhile. So I'm putting the old impeller back in, and that's all been made a note of. And when you put this impeller in here, when you push it into place inside the top shaft, just give it a twist anti-clockwise, because we're looking upside down, because this is a clockwise turning engine, so the blades will be going that way, the broken blade, so the blades lie the proper way in. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put that little wedge in there, bring this down here, slot that on top of the wedge into the recess on the inside of the impeller bearing, which should be just here somewhere like that. Then we're going to bring the pump down. We're going to give this a little twist into place like that, little turn anti-clockwise, make sure the blades are in the right way there, and that's fine. Okay, next spot. What we'll do is we'll just take this plate here. As you can see, this plate is worn, so that may need replacing as well when I buy the parts. We'll just put that into place, keeping the pump in the right spot there, and then we can drop it onto the leg here, into the bottom half here, and I hope you can see that. We'll drop that into the gearbox there. So with a bit of fiddling on that, we can get that down. Next we've got our three 5/16 bolts which hold the pump cover and the plate in place. Those three bolts going here. Here we've got the water uptake pipe and the gear shift rod hanging down there. Now when you come to reassemble the bottom part of the leg, make sure that the gear shift lever, that's this one here, is in the down position, right? And then you can locate that first into the hole, which is just a little, there we are, that's in there, okay? Now keep that like that. Now gently take a little bit of pressure off that lever, making sure it's still located, and then you have to fiddle around a bit until you find the hole that goes in. They do go in, and now we can put our bolts in. When you're reassembling the bottom of the leg, as some of us know, it can be sometimes and almost feels as if it's impossible to get it back in. And you have to get a torch and look up the leg to convince yourself that there is in fact a hole there. And eventually it will drop into place, but they can be very awkward to get in, but they will drop in eventually. Try and look this round out. And just to get things out of the way, we'll put our shear pin back in there, and we'll put our puller back on here. And the split pin back in place. Put the split pin back in. Make sure you put it through the part where you've got a wide flat on here, The short block there, we'll put it in from the short block side, and on the wide flat is where you bend the pins over. So I'm just going to put the pin back in there. So you can spin out the split pin. So there we are. Now before we put any fuel in, get too excited, I'm just going to pull this over, make sure we've got the gear linkage push rod and the drive shaft in place properly. That's in neutral. I'll put it in gear now. That's okay. Take it out of gear again. Do it properly. There we are. And then we're back in neutral. And back in gear. Well, in the final part of this, we'll be putting petrol in this and giving this a run up. So watch out for the Evinrude on Accordion Cafe. Bye for now.